First of all, I want to say how excited we are that you are all engaging in the public dialogue, that you're meeting candidates, you're asking questions. This is your step towards becoming an adult. How many of you realize that the President of the United States lived in Pasadena? Does anyone know that? He lived in Pasadena, it's true. He lived in Pasadena on Glen Arm when he was a little older than you were. You might know he went to Occidental College, and while he lived here, he gave his first speech. Now, some of you today are entering the first stages of the public dialogue, just asking questions. That's such an important piece of it. But when you stand up and you ask questions, and when you stand up and give a speech, which was what our president did when he was a little older than you are, in 1980, he went to Occidental College, and he gave a speech about divestment from South Africa. And that was the beginning of his career as a politician. And for you, this is at the beginning of your entering the public dialogue. And I want to give a big round of applause for everyone that showed up and is entering the public dialogue. We're all very excited about it.
Thank you, David. Now I'm going to hand the microphone over to Rosa, our Youth Advocate President, and her and the students have been working on some questions for the candidates for the past 2 weeks. So the way it's going to work is you all will not be answering the same question. They're just going to go popcorn style. I'm sorry, I know it's chilly. We're just going to run through this really quickly. So Rosie, you want to come up?
Hi, my name is Rosa. I'm 17. I go to Pasadena High School. And this question is for Hardy. How can you increase teen jobs? How can you increase teen jobs?
Well, that's a great question. First thing I would try to do is I would push for a year-round summer roles program. The summer roles hires teens, and it's usually done during the summer. Sometimes you can get it extended through October, but I would make it an all year-round program.
Hi, my name is Tiffany. I go to PHS. I'm 17. And this question is for Terry Turner. How would you create safer streets for teens?
I think safer streets is not particularly for teens, but for everybody. The way to deal with that is to make sure that the streets, we've got a program called Complete Streets now, which recognizes that streets are not just for cars, but they're for pedestrians and for bicyclists. And I think what we have to do is to pursue that and make sure that people understand that having a safe bicycle lane, for example, is not just putting a stencil on the pavement and the bicycle on it, or putting up a sign that says share the road, but actually building protected bike lanes for people. And in some cases, we need to narrow the streets and slow the speed of the traffic down and make it safer for pedestrians. Teens are a disproportionate number of bicyclists and pedestrians, so if we make it safer for those two groups, that will make it safer for teens.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I go to John Muir High School. I'm 16. This question is for Bill Thompson. What will you do to help the environment?
What did you do
Well, one thing I think we have to do is make Pasadena more pedestrian friendly, or get people out of their cars, make it more able and more enticing to actually walk around here. We have art buses that will take you around town, but sometimes the wait for those is excessive. People don't use them nearly as much as they ought to. So I think those are things we can look at and figure out ways to do that, to make the community, to improve our environment. We also have to take a look at how much water we consume, because even though we've had some rain recently, we are suffering still in California for a shortage of rain and shortage of water, so we have to do more about that. So right now you pay a penalty if you use more water, so that's one incentive to use less water, but maybe the answer is to encourage people to go to more of the desert type, I use that term loosely, lawns and things of that nature, to make ourselves more environmental friendly. We'll do our very best to keep things as they have been over the years. Southern California, and Pasadena particularly, beautiful, beautiful, great place to be a part of. We raised our children here, our family. We want to make it even better.
And this microphone's tricky, so if you guys can just hold it a little bit closer, I think your voice will project.
Hi, my name is Adam Smith, and I'm a former alumni of Pasadena High School. This question is for candidate Shea. Several European countries have lowered the minimum age vote to 16 in the last decade. Would you be in support in lowering the age to 16 in Pasadena?
I love that question. And the reason why I love that question is because as a candidate that's running with a plan directed at youth in civic engagement, I would definitely recommend that they participate in the process as early as possible, because through the program as your mayor to educate you about civic engagement starting at age 12, I think it's vital for you to get a start on what your government is about as soon as possible so you can be a contributor to your community. So I would definitely encourage it. I would love to see it, and that may have been the reason why some 35 years ago, actually, the age limit was reduced from 21 to 18 because they needed young people to be involved with being a part of their community and actively taking a responsible role. So I certainly hope that you got a flyer and share with your parents how involved I am with youth and civic engagement. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brianna. What is a major problem in Pasadena, and what solution can you offer to it?
So the question...
Christy, mic's off.
Okay, there we go. Try again.
What is a major problem in Pasadena, and what is the solution you can offer to it?
So I think the most obvious major problem we have is not enough jobs, right? And not enough jobs that are the types of jobs that you all want to be working towards. So I probably shared with all of you as you came to my table, you know, I think we should be working with Caltech and JPL and Art Center, three of the most innovative institutions in the world, to be taking the very cool stuff that they're doing at those institutions and bringing them to markets, have them start jobs here in Pasadena, and then match internship and apprenticeship and summer job opportunities with those institutions and the new businesses they're starting, so that you all are getting experience moving into the types of jobs you're going to want to be working in once you've gone to college and come back to Pasadena. Those are high-skilled, high-paying jobs that will allow you to live in great, stable housing, send your kids to good schools, and we know that the results of that are going to continue to improve our school, lower our crime rates, and other things that we face as a city. So let's take the best of what we've got, the best innovation coming out of Pasadena, create great jobs around that, and then feed very bright young people like you into those jobs, so that in the future we're building communities that you can really thrive and raise your own family someday.
Did you say hold my water?
My name is Nick Padilla, and I go to John Mayer High School on 15. This question is for Jackie Robinson. Many people live in crowded houses because rent is too expensive. Well, how will you fix that?
I believe your question is alluding to affordable housing opportunities in Pasadena, and I will agree that affordable housing is an area that continues to be a challenge in Pasadena, even though we've made great strides to put a dent in the availability of options in Pasadena. As with many issues in Pasadena, I believe that Pasadena bears the brunt and responsibility of a lot of issues that are the responsibility of our neighboring cities as well as the region, but because Pasadena actually puts forth the effort and ability and resources to make a dent in the problem, it causes a lot more demand in the city, both from people that are here in the city and with people that are coming to the city because they know we have the resources to be available to them. I think right now Pasadena is primed to have some of the difficult conversations that may be necessary to alleviate affordable housing, including amending our second unit ordinance, which needs to be lowered in order to make it usable for many of the families that would most likely be want to use the ordinance, and then also having conversations about things like rent stability within the city, and also increasing the partnership opportunities that we have to leverage the limited resources that we currently have as a city. And so I think the solution is multifold, and one that whoever is elected as the next mayor is going to have to work collaboratively with their colleagues on the city council to resolve.
Hi, my name is Amrales. I am 17 years old and I go to Pasadena High School. And this question is for Jason Harden. Transportation is not safe, overcrowded, overpriced, and dirty. How do we improve public transit? Can there be more buses at peak times?
Well, one thing I would want to do is get involved more with the arts buses. I would try to make the arts bus free for students, because when I was in school it was free, and I wouldn't want students to have to worry about transportation to school. I wouldn't want that to be the reason why they don't go. So I would definitely improve our arts bus system, and I would definitely try to accommodate students by allowing the arts bus to be free for students.
Hi, my name is Nestor Della Torre. I'm 24, a recent college graduate, and I'm a Day One alumni. In Northwest Pasadena, this question's for Terry Tornick. In Northwest Pasadena, there are more fast food restaurants than the rest of Pasadena. How can you give Northwest equal access to high quality, affordable food?
I don't know. I think that one of the things that I got from the people circulating through the tables is a feeling that somehow we have the ability to have a simple answer, particularly as it relates to what business decisions are in terms of changing things. I got a number of questions about changing the movie theaters at the Museo and a variety of private business decisions. Cities have a limited ability to really decide what private businesses do and what they don't do. So that, for example, when it comes to fast food restaurants, we can, and some cities have, passed regulations that actually prohibit fast food restaurants in some zones. So we could do that. We could prevent them from entering certain zones. But what we couldn't do, magically somehow, is to then get them to be occupied by higher quality restaurants or a different nature of a restaurant that we might prefer. So I think that we can kind of create the conditions, the basic conditions that allow businesses to thrive. We can encourage them and we can recruit them. But I don't think we should kid anybody in terms of thinking that somehow the people in that building or the mayor can make a transition and determine whether or not a fast food restaurant or another restaurant would go in there. I will give you one more minute on that. I fought the introduction of a Chick-fil-A in my district on Colorado Boulevard next to PCC, not because I don't like chicken, but because I felt that site, that was a 1-acre site that should have been developed for commercial with residential above it, and to allow a fast food drive-through restaurant to go there was a terrible mistake. That was an example where the city could have had an influence on something, and my colleagues on the city council decided that it was better to have that Chick-fil-A there than the beat-up old Burger King that was there. And they weren't prepared to hold out for a better development. So the city's authority and ability to influence some of these decisions is not as great as some of you might think it is.
Hello, my name is Jesus Torres. I'm 15. I go to Marshall. it is really easy for us to get drugs at school. Cocaine and weed are, for example. What are you doing to do about it? What are you doing? What are you going to do about it?
Again, there's certainly no easy answer to that one either. I think we have to work with the schools themselves and the principals and teachers and everybody involved with the schools, also with our own police department, if we're the ones providing the security to the school sites. But one thing I think you're going to have to do as individuals and work, I'm sure your families, your parents are talking to you about the very same thing, but there used to be an organization called Just Say No. And I know that it's very tempting to succumb to doing what your peers may be involved with and all that, but I think individually we also have to take responsibility for ourselves. And so that, plus working through our police department, working with the schools, but again, there's no magic way to solve all this. And I think that if the desire to, or if the prospects for purchasing the drugs dries up, then I think you're going to have the problem go away. So I would say, let's start with ourselves and be determined not to become a drug addict or to use drugs simply because some of your peers may do the same thing.
Hi, my name is Brian Gonzalez. I'm 17 and I go to Pasadena High School. And my question is for candidate Shea. How can the city develop meaningful youth internships?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank, what was your name again? Brian. Brian for the question for two reasons. One, Brian has on the right shirt USC, all right? I'm an alumni of USC, first of all. Secondly, let's see the hands of people who live their life through a plan. Can I see that? Okay, everybody, all right. As mayor, I would initiate a plan in which we have a platform for our youth. Our youth can engage a number of different avenues for their future, whether that's to help them to get a better education, vocational training, or to find out about things that are missing from your current curriculum at school. These things are crucial at your development stage right now. Within the plan that I would have in place as your mayor, it would focus in on youth from 12 years old to 18 years old. These are the most fundamental years for youth because you are evolving, you're maturing, you're trying to develop your self-esteem, your confidence, so you can prepare for adulthood. Without these fundamental developments, you will turn to drugs. You will turn to other things that you are not familiar with. By having a platform for you, you can then focus in on your education, focus in on summer jobs, focus in on internships, and this is what, as your mayor, I would offer you so that we can have a pathway for your future. Thank you.
My name is Claudia Morales. I'm a John Marshall alumni and a Day One alumni. My question is for Don Morgan. Fresh, not warmed up school lunches. How can you ensure our school lunches are healthy?
Yeah, right. This is a question that I think students have been asking for a very long time. I think, first of all, you know, the mayor has an interesting role with the schools, and the mayor has no administrative authority over the schools, but does have the opportunity to have some impact, and I think, in particular, creating a conversation with the school board and with the district, and with nonprofits that are providing some resources to the schools. So there is a lot of movement being made across the country on health around your lunches. I can't I think they're getting healthier. I can't guarantee that they're actually going to taste better. I think it's a rite of passage as a student. You're supposed to have really horrible tasting food. So I'm not sure I can fix that one necessarily. I can say that I think we need to be partnering with nonprofit organizations